You know, when you tell your friends something that you're excited about, you want them to be excited for you. So in any possible scenario, you would always prefer things to go one way rather than the other. And you're not outcome independent when you approach a girl and she blows you off. That's a lie. It's like you can reframe that quickly, and the tougher you are, the quicker you can reframe that. The more of a positive thinker you are, you can reframe that. But if you could have chosen between getting blown off or having a friendly conversation where she's super into you, you're going to choose the first one, obviously. So every single communication that you put out there, you have a response that you would want back, down to you trying to make positive conversation with the checkout girl and she's just like, meh, right? It's a small thing, it's a tiny thing, but there is a negative reverberation there. She is putting out negative communication, and it is, you know, you have to like reframe that. There is no neutral communication. 24/7, you are communicating. It's either positive or negative. Even if you're just communicating with yourself, if no one's around, you're running self-talk on yourself, and your thoughts are either positive or negative. You're either going forward or going backwards. You're either communicating with other people positively or negatively. Neutral does not fucking exist. It's just an illusion. Okay? So, one, stop lying about that. Two, start being more fucking positive, both with yourself and with other people. Because you don't want to be the guy who just answers like meh to other people, and now nobody wants to have you around because you're just a mediocre motherfucker. There's enough mediocre motherfuckers in the world. We don't need another one. Okay, we need more positive people. We desperately need more positive people. Okay, if everybody was positive and everyone had happiness as their primary priority, we'd have no wars and no crime. And people would walk down the streets smiling and shaking hands with each other, because it would be so much easier to be happy if imagine everywhere you went there were happy people. So be part of the the solution, not the problem. Not that that's ever going to happen, or that I'm idealist, or like I believe in some type of utopia. But what I'm saying is that, like, when you know there's no neutral communication, right, both with yourself and with other people, it only makes sense to be positive as much as you can, and recognize you do care about other people's opinions, and that's okay. It's okay because you're going into the gym to look fit so that you get more respect from women, more respect from men, more attraction from women. You want to be a success so that people have a certain image of you, as well as your own self-image in comparison to other people, because half of life is competition. Half of it's cooperation, but half of it's competition based on how you're doing compared to other people. That's okay. It's a reality. You can't fight it unless you become an enlightened being and recognize that you're the totality of the consciousness instead of just the body. You're always going to care about what other people think. So it makes sense for you yourself to put out the positive communication, and allow yourself to care about other people's opinion, and go harder because of it. Recognize you want to be successful, admit it, go harder for it. A janitor cares less about what other people think about him, right? Not to beat up on janitors, right? I probably care more. Otherwise, I wouldn't be doing this whole guru thing. I wouldn't have a hunger for success and validation. It is what it is, Think of a Tom Cruise or some, Brad Pitt or one of these guys. Like, they must have had a massive hunger for, external success based on like the inputs and values and opinions of others. Okay, I'm not saying to like go ahead and like increase this stuff from a superficial perspective, but I'm saying like recognize that it's a reality. Recognize that there is no neutral communication. Recognize that you're always going to be seeking positive communications. So start by creating positive communications yourself, both in your self-talk and in your conversations with others, and then start screening out negative motherfuckers. It's okay to just, it's much easier to do the structural solution of just getting rid of negative people in your life than it is to try and like play defense and do the reframes, and then save your defense for like negative situations that you can't avoid. Like maybe you have some negative colleagues around you. Eventually you want to solve it on a structural level by getting out of having to work a job and having your own business. But for right now, you just have to work and play defense on those things until the structural solution is solved. Right? So that's like level 3 is defense, and then work on focusing a life of as much positive output, and then surrounding yourself with as much positive input from the restaurants that you go to the people in your social circle, to the kind of people that you attract. It's like the vast majority of the people that come to my site are already positive and nice comments. But if you're writing about angry politics and all kinds of stuff like that, you're going to attract negative people. And just recognize there is no neutral in the game of life. That applies to communication. Every communication has a reverberation. Every act that you communicate has a reaction. And the actions from other people is going to have an instinctual reaction with you. So you really need to get rid of these mediocre and negative motherfuckers out of your life, because they're, they're state killers. Like, you can still have state around these people. They just make it that much harder because you're having to play defense, instead of being around people that make it easier for you to be in state and be able to play offense. So in summary, no neutral communication. Be as positive as possible. Surround yourself by as positive people as possible. You know the drill. You know what's the right thing to do. Make it happen. Be in it to win it. Much love to you. Wish you all the